Hello everybody and welcome to Workshop Studios. Today's project is right here. This is an old faucet. Well, old because it's not brand new out of the box, but it might still be useful to somebody I know. And this came out of our kitchen, and I'll put the link to the video where we replaced this faucet up there. But let me go through this and see if I can rebuild this faucet, and then if I can, I'll show you the install. So here's the faucet, and there's a couple of things about it. It needs to have some silicone grease on it for a couple of things. It would be nice to get this head apart. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but I can clean it up a little bit. And also the body of it. You can see this part is wiggling and it shouldn't. So this will be a process of figuring out how to get it apart. So back here there's a little knob, which I haven't tried yet. But I suspect that helps to get this handle off, and then there may be some things in here that can unscrew when we can take it apart. So let's see if we can't get that off. Well, the first thing I figured out is that this part unscrews from here, so I got that out of the way. Now you can see there's a little bit more we can do with this part. This part will rotate. Sorry if I can. There we go. You can see I'm turning this one, and this up here is turning. So I'm going to work on that a little bit, see if there's a way to unscrew that maybe. Alright, so this little pin came out or a little plug came out the back. It's just got a couple of tabs that hold it on there. Now, zoom in a little bit. And there's an Allen wrench right there. Let me zoom in for you. There we go. So that we'll take that out of there and see if we can't. So this is just a little cover that's on there. Pushes in. All right. So out comes just a regular Allen wrench, and off comes the handle. All right. So we got that part done. Now we'll see if we can't get this off. I want to get this handle out of the way. So the way to do that is down here at the other end. There's this little weight on here, and there's that black one is the same as this one. So you just push this gray thing here, and then they come apart like that. The weight comes off of there. And now I can pull this black tube out of the whole faucet body and get the handle out of the way. So pulling the handle out of there. I'll feed it back down when I'm done. And there we go. So the handle's out of the way. We'll work on that separately. Alright, so after some wiggling, I finally got this to unscrew. That was kind of glued on there. But that comes off, and now you can see there's a big nut here that we can work on. So let's do that next. Alright, big old wrenches. And that loosened up, so now we can unscrew this, and that should get us down into more of the guts of the faucet. It comes off, and out comes this unit, and we can see there's the, oops, I gotta get over here. There's where the mixing valve is, and I can see some crud built up there, and this area is going to need to have some silicone grease on it. So we'll work on cleaning that up a little bit and see if we can't get this whole thing working better. All right, so gave this top part a tap with this, and that started to loosen it up, but it does take a little bit. So out comes the body of the thing away from this, and now we can see better. This is really just cosmetics, if you want to think of it that way, but we'll clean that up too. So set that off to one side. So we're now down to the real core of it, but you can see how dirty this is around the outside, and that's going to help to loosen that up. So we'll clean this area up along with this, which is part of the valve. So when the faucet turns on and off, this part rotates like this. That means in here there's a valve that opens and closes. In fact, you can see it there. See where I'm doing that, and it opens and closes. So we'll check this out inside as well. All right, so after some serious scrubbing, this is nice and clean now, and that goes on there. That's what goes through here like this, and this side is cleaned up because it rides down here on this plastic ring. So put it together so you can see, and now it goes back and forth nice and smooth. This comes in here, and that now moves nice and smoothly, and we'll put some more silicone grease with it, and that'll really get it going nicely. So next we're going to work on this little guy just to get him cleaned up and ready to go. All right, so we're going to take this little valve body apart, and you just push on these tabs here. Kind of move them up a little. There we go, there's one side. And here's the other side. There we go. And then this just lifts off of there. And we will clean this up. There's a little bit of debris here. That's from this arm going back and forth in there. A little bit of debris in there. So we'll take this all apart and clean it up. All right, so there it is, kind of taken apart like that. And then this little comes off of here. And we'll clean that up. Get all the little bits off of it. And I might be able to take that pin out of there and get this apart, because this goes back and forth. It seems all right, but we'll see if we can get that apart too. All right, so now to take this handle apart, I need to unscrew this handle here. That'll take the hose off of there. And now we need to get sort of the guts out of this guy. Well, I tried my best to take this apart, and it looks, I don't know why, but it just seems like this unit is fitted in there and I can't get it out of there. So what I did was just took some waterproof silicone spray and sprayed it down in so that this would go back and forth nice and easily, and it is. So other than that, I've greased up this end, and I'll show you how I put that together. All right, so this is the end that rotates as you use this, and you don't want it too loose, and you don't want it too tight, and it needs to be waterproof. And it's got a ball valve in it. If you can see down in there, there's a ball valve, and that goes to this right here. And so when I'm putting this back together, there's an O-ring in here. Get that off of there. Hang on a second. Okay, so there's an O-ring that goes down in here, and then this metal washer goes on top of that, and that's what rides on the ball valve down there, down in here. And so this part screws on separately, so it screws in there, and you got to have the right Allen wrench for it. Get that screwed down, and then this is going to tighten up so that this will be tight enough so that it doesn't just wobble around. Give it a good snugging there. Yeah, that's good. See, it takes a little effort to make it move, and that's what you want, because this handle will, once it's screwed on here, the handle will move. So we've gotten this tightened up, and then inside of here there's also an O-ring. Can you see down in here? There's an O-ring right on the inside here that seals the inside of this to this. So when these screw together, that seals up. And I've put silicone grease, that's this stuff here. Yeah, there we go. Waterproof grease, silicone grease, pretty much the same thing as far as I can tell. So once this is tightened down sufficiently to give that tension, give it another snug, then this screws on there and seals up that O-ring. And now this, see, even though I got that pretty tight, this will move around. But you want that because you'll be hanging onto this part, and you want it to rotate fairly easily because you're going to be spraying with it, and you want this to give it a point where it can rotate like that and still be not leak. All right, I think we're done with this bit, so we are getting pretty close. Well, let's replace this one with our rebuilt one. I think we've gotten our money's worth out of that one. So let's get started. All right, clean down under the sink. And we're going in. All right, so we're going to turn off the water here. All right, and then we'll unscrew the hoses here, here, and here. All right, so that's all loosened up underneath. Let's pull it out of there. Hopefully. There we go. And it is out of there. And there we go. What I had to do was take off the nut from here. This actually was missing a nut altogether, so the whole thing was loose. But let's go clean that up, and then we'll try the new one on there. All right, so this goes with the new faucet, and it covers up those holes, because this faucet is a center mount faucet, and we just feed everything through the holes, make sure it all fits. 1, 2, and 3. And it fits just fine, I think. Just getting there. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out. Well, it turns out that this back hole here is too small for this to go through, so either forget about installing it or we drill this hole out, which I think we can see if we can figure out how to drill that hole out. Well, forget about drilling the hole out. I didn't have this spacer in there. That's part of the problem. So that spacer goes on there, and that gives that plenty of room to get past this white collar here. So that goes on there, and everything's fine, except that over here on this part, that silver collar, this one here, won't go through this hole enough until I take a little bit of plastic off of here. And you can see that there's a tab and a little spot where the plastic sticks out. See it there sticking out? So I need to get that out of the way so this will slide up over the top of it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. The install, I didn't bring the instructions with me because this is an older faucet, but let's go ahead and just get that plastic out of the way and we'll see if that'll work. All right, so I just took a utility knife and carved off that bit that was sticking out there. And now we can, it's a nice snug fit through there. Oops, can't see what I'm doing. So I just pushed it through, and now it will go up and past those tabs, and that's the way it should look right there. All right, problem solved, hooray. All right, that's much better. So that fits on there. Oops. And you can see that it's nice and flush. So let's go underneath and tighten it up. All right, so here we are underneath, and I've fed these. There's now 4 of them. 4 of these hoses through there. There's another hose here. There we go. So 4 hoses through this big nut that goes on here, and some washers, and thread that up, and then tighten these against the surface of the sink. But I'm not sure I can show you this here because it's, I'll try. So this should be the center, and it should rotate to either side. Good. And good. Equal rotation either side. Yeah, excellent. So I may tighten it up just a little bit more, but that's exactly right. And there you have it, a completed install. Everything's fine down here, no leaks. Everything works up here. A big improvement. There's hot. Yep. One thing is this valve doesn't seem to want to work very well, so I don't get a full change over there, but we'll look into that. But we're going to call that quits. And so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye!